Cinematography. Cinematography is the art of framing and deciding the composition of a shot in a motion picture. You might recognize that it sounds pretty familiar with the more popular phrase, photography. That's basically what it is, but applied to video. It's basically deciding whether the camera should be below, above, in front, or behind the subject, as well as how much of the subject is shown. These choices can convey a great meaning for both the temporary narrative of the film, as well as the greater themes. For example, shooting from a high angle can signify a character's weaknesses, while using a low angle can make the character look stronger. Cinematography is what keeps movies from just being stale repeating shots and all looking and feeling the same. Marketing. Many people falsely assume that marketing is something only big studios worry about or do, but it's not. It's more or less determining how to appeal your film to an audience, which is the case for making any film, unless you want purely one for you to watch. Which if you do you, I guess. This practice can be something as small as a unique title or font or poster, or a multi-million-dollar campaign with promos and interviews. Marketing basically serves as the post-production stage of a film. Acting. Acting is a skill used by actors to convince the audience that they are the character they're pretending to be, whether it be delivering their lines in a certain way, utilizing facial expressions, or changing their body language. It's one of the most important aspects in entrenching your audience into the atmosphere of your film, as if the film is real. Without it, the film would just be people awkwardly reading lines. Acting can also be put into different strategies and categories, such as method acting, where an actor will try to embark on the experiences that their character might go through in order to prepare for the role. The Stanislavski method, where the actor pretends that they actually are the character at all times, or classical acting, which draws on acting methods used in theaters and plays. Lighting. Lighting is the process of determining how much light is used on set. It may seem like an odd thing for it to have its own category, but it's extremely integral to getting a certain desired look for a film. For instance, high-key lighting being used in comedies, and low-key lighting being used in dramas or actions. Low-key lighting is lighting used to maximize shadows, while high-key lighting is the opposite. This also applies to characters being lit up harsh, as showing a character as evil. Color-based lighting is also taken off in recent years, using it to convey certain moods. Writing. Writing is the most important aspect of the creative part of pre-production. It refers to the creation of the script, which acts as the blueprint for the plot of the film. The script typically contains a 3-act structure and follows most traditional plot outlines. In more surrealist and non-traditional films, the script often has the least amount of influence and relies more on other aspects of storytelling like cinematography or lighting or mise-en-scene. The script contains stage directions as well as all of the non-improvised dialogue. Screenwriting is the component of filmmaking that is most far removed from the core of the art of film. It requires almost no technical knowledge, and its skills are easily transferable to, normal writing. Sound design. Sound design refers to the crafting of audio and sound in the film. This involves determining the volume, intensity, and mixing the audio. Intensity is measured in decibels. The average movie theater gives around 68 to 73 decibels. Mixing audio is the process of figuring out which sources of audio are the loudest and quietest. For instance, the sound of a door opening compared to the character speaking in a scene. Mixing may seem boring and tedious, but is one of the most integral parts of making your film even listenable. A more interesting aspect of sound design is scoring. Scoring is determining what the soundtrack of a film looks like, as well as any music included in it. Producing. Producing is basically all about securing the production of the film, mostly being securing a budget, securing a schedule, and all the filming locations and rights. Producers act as a coordinator between all stages of production, pre-production, post-production, and, production. Producers typically have final say in determining the final script and who the director of the film is. They act as a middleman between the studio and the various production crews, and oversee most elements of production. Special effects. Special effects are basically the magic of filmmaking, creating the illusion that something's happening in the plot that is not actually happening in real life. First thought that immediately comes to mind is, explosions. However, look at these two stills. Believe it or not, these belong in two separate categories: mechanical versus digital effects. Mechanical effects are effects done live on set using some type of pyrotechnic stunt or stuntman, while digital effects are often done in post with editing techniques and CGI. Effects are a key fact in bringing your movie's plot to life. Mise-en-scene. Mise-en-scene refers to the arrangement of the stage properties of a film. It mostly encompasses set design, costume design, and the props of a film. Mise-en-scene is one of the best ways to convey a certain aesthetic or narrative detail to the audience in a fast manner. For example, take this footage from Star Wars. Without hearing any lines, analyzing the framing of the shot, or paying attention to the expressions on the characters' faces, you can really tell this is a sci-fi movie. The same can be said for Django Unchained, taking place in 1800s America, whether it be their clothes or old school guns. Directing. Directing is the job of guiding actors and the production crew into bringing the screenplay of the movie to life. They deal with executing the tone of the movie as well as how the actors communicate it. The best way to think of them is being the leader of the creativity on the set during the production phase. The director oftentimes can take on other roles in the filmmaking process, such as screenwriter, cinematographer, or actor. However, it's important to remember that this isn't always the case. Graphics. Graphics refer to any form of text, text card, or border used in the film, in the context of it being outside the film's universe. The most common use of graphics is title cards and credits, with title cards being used in the beginning of a film and serving to introduce it. They typically have some type of unique font to show off the tone of the film, whether it be serious or silly. Credits can also have these font choices, but typically are more traditional, so the names are more clear in order to give, credit to the people who worked on the film. Graphics, while a minor part of filmmaking, are pretty integral to giving your film a complete look. Editing. Editing is the way individual shots of the film are stitched together. Shots meaning any interrupted filming by the camera. This stitching is done by a computer software if the movie was shot on video, or is done physically with an actual razor if it was shot on film. The stitching allows the film to become a cohesive narrative and can even be argued as the most important in giving the audience direction on how to interpret the story in between shots. This was most famously proved by Alfred Hitchcock, who showed a shot and reaction shot to an audience and noted how the audience would attribute different emotions to the reaction shot depending on the original shot, despite the reaction shot being the exact same thing.